Hi guys, it's Page FM back with a new series where if you're a football fan, you know the transfer window is the best part of the season. So what I'm going to do is go through the paper talk of the transfers that might happen in January. So we're going to start off with the Daily Star, and as you can see, Liverpool have set their sights on Benfica and Mexico striker Raul Jimenez as a potential summer transfer target. Personally, I don't think this will be a very good move because although he probably wouldn't be too expensive, if Daniel Sturridge and other players can't get into the team, as a striker, I don't think Raul Jimenez will be. Because he's kind of the same type of player as like a Benteke, like a big, strong, powerful striker who would probably rather the ball at his head than his feet. And that's not what Liverpool play like. So personally, if that was me, I wouldn't go with the deal. The next one, Everton could miss out on Axel Witsel after he was offered huge money to move to China. I personally think that was never going to happen anyway, because he was linked with Chelsea, Tottenham, Juventus. So I think he would pick them three over a move to Everton. So I'm not going to go on with that one. I'm going to skip that one. Bayern Munich star Arturo Vidal has fueled speculation he is joining Chelsea by liking a post linking him with the Blues. This one could happen, but I don't think it would happen. I am a Chelsea fan, but I don't think this will happen because if he comes in, Fabregas is most likely to go out, and I'd rather keep Fabregas because I think he's a bit younger than Vidal. And although Vidal is a very decent player, I think I'd rather just have Fabregas because when Fabregas plays, he can just pick that pass that you need to break down teams. So personally, I don't think that one will happen either. Chelsea have eyes on flying Napoli left wing back, Fauzi Ghoulam. What I've decided to do now is just cut it down a bit because there's some stories here that I don't really need to look at. Stoke are set to land goalkeeper Lee Grant. We all know that's going to happen anyway, so I don't need to look at that. The next story we'll move on to, Jack Wilshere will be offered his new contract by Arsenal this month despite still being on loan at Bournemouth. This one's a bit of a split decision really, because if you're Wilshere, he's had a full season, or he hopefully will have a full season, no injuries, or no long-term injuries, playing well, game time, exactly what he's needed. So will he go back to Arsenal and get injured? I think that's what he needs to learn. If he goes back to Arsenal and gets injured, he knows that he needs to leave because it's Arsenal that are causing him problems. Whereas if he goes back to Arsenal and, for instance, goes back and plays well, plays a lot of time, he's made a decent decision. So I think what he needs to do is get a new contract, but not a long-term contract, because that will tie him down to Arsenal for a long time. The next one will be Georginio Wijnaldum has told close friend Quincy Promes, come and join me at Liverpool. This is another one. I think this Quincy Promes is a good player. It's whether he will get enough time at Liverpool because some of the players they've got. Because like you look at there, you've got Wijnaldum, Firmino, Adam Lallana, Coutinho, Origi. Origi, although he's a striker, they all switch at that front four. Sadio Mane as well. So there's like 6 players I've named there who are all fighting for like 3 or 4 positions. So I think what he will be is a backup. So it's whether he wants to come to Liverpool and be a backup really. Swansea are ready to back Paul Clement with a hefty transfer budget to try and spend their way out of relegation. Paul Clement. I'm not sure Paul Clement is the right man for the job, to be honest. I think what they should have looked at is someone like Gary Rowett. Because although Paul Clement has had a lot of experience at other clubs, higher levels, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid for instance, he took over at Derby and struggled massively at Derby, for them only to sack him and replace him with someone who, or I think it was Nigel Pearson who they replaced him with, or someone like that, but they still haven't really done anything. Whereas Gary Rowett has come up, done well at Burton, then took a job at Birmingham, and got Birmingham from relegation all the way back up to fighting for promotion. So I think he knows what he's going to do, but with 30 million, I think it doesn't matter what manager goes in there, because it will be the owner, directors that will be buying these players with the 30 million. It doesn't matter what Paul Clement wants to know, he won't be buying the players. So who else can we do? Sunderland's Adnan Januzaj says they could be 6 goals down by half-time against Liverpool Monday. Although it's not really transfer news, but would you want one of your players coming out and saying that before you play Liverpool at home? I don't think you do. That shows how inexperienced, and I don't know how to put it, but as one of your players, you don't want him coming out and saying we could be 6-0 down by half time, because all that's doing is putting pressure on your team already without even kicking off. And then the next one we're going to do is Diego Costa admits he was close to leaving Chelsea for Atletico Madrid in the summer. This is probably one of the biggest stories coming out today, because if he would have left, I don't think Chelsea would have been anywhere near where they are now. I think they'd have probably been close to where they were last season, because he has been one of our vital players this season. So I think we're lucky that we stopped him from going, and it's, from what I read yesterday, it's all down to Antonio Conte to get him staying. So at least he's done that, kicked on, and now look where we are in the season. So I think it's been a clever appointment by the Chelsea board at the moment. Man City, furiously gesturing towards, that's what you get from Guardiola. Arsenal. Arsene Wenger has called Olivier Giroud's scorpion kick against Crystal Palace as the greatest goal he's ever seen at the Emirates Stadium. We were saying that Mkhitaryan's goal was the best that we've ever seen, or one of the best we've ever seen, and we won't see a goal like that ever again. Only for Giroud to do it a week later, to do it better than Mkhitaryan's already done. So I think Mkhitaryan will be fairly annoyed that he scored one of the best goals in Premier League history for Giroud, only better it a week later. So it hasn't even been too long before he done it. Paul Clement is set to be appointed as Swansea boss. We've spoken about that one already. Demarai Gray has apologised for his hippie crack video with Leicester preparing to discipline the winger. It shows it's just the youngsters, because you've got Demarai Gray, who's obviously already done it, Raheem Sterling, who's had past with it, Jack Grealish, who's had past, all youngsters who have hit the big time too early, and they just don't know what to do with all the money and their fame, really. So I think you're never going to crack down on that, really. That's going to happen and carry on happening. So that's the end of this first episode of this series. So if you like it, please let me know in the comments down below. If you don't, let me know how we could change it for the next series, for the next episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you tomorrow with a new episode of the Leeds Football Manager Career.